welcome back to Fat Mama Physics. This is part 3 of the video. You're doing so good. You're still here with me, learning more about how to deal with all these fractions. It's kind of like a puzzle. So the more you do it, the more you find it would be very fun. Okay. In fact, I remember when I was a kid, I struggled with algebra. So guess what my mom did to me, and then I know that not all of you are going to have moms that are going to do them to you, is on a Saturday, I remember, she would give me 10 algebraic equations, and she would make me solve all of them. And I'm telling you, her questions are very, very mean. She'll have fractions on this side. She'll have like polynomials. Maybe she'll have 2 of them. Maybe she'll have negatives in front. Say x minus 1. On the bottom you have like x squared. And then you'll have like another term here. Then you might have equal sign. And then you might have, say, it might be off the flip. This is x squared up here. And then here you have x plus 1. And maybe there's some thing that you have to distribute here. It's so mean. Her equations are extremely mean, and there's 10 of them, and they get increasingly harder. It's very crazy. So then at the very beginning when I did these, and you can see this is way tougher than any of the examples I've given you. I would do 10 of these, and at the very beginning I would get 0 correct. Then she would give me another set. Like, she would make these questions on the run. Then she'd give me another set. I maybe get 1 right. And then she's like, no, we're going to keep doing it. Then the next time I get 3 right out of the 10. And then the next time, okay, you gotta get more right. 3 out of 10 is pretty bad, right? So then I do, well, for her standards. Then you get, I would get 7 right. And I'm like, hey, can I stop now? 7 right is really good already out of those 10 very hard questions. She's like, no, you're not stopping. You're gonna stop until you can get all 10 of them right. And I'm like, ugh. And surely enough, I was able to get 10 out of 10 right. These type of equations right. And I tell you, that's the most I've learned in algebra ever. I spent the whole Saturday, maybe even a bit of Sunday, to nail my algebra. I went from failing a quiz, so that's what, 2 out of 6 or something, all the way to getting about 94, 90 something on a unit test. So it was a huge jump. And that it just takes practice to get this algebra down. So this is why I'm hammering you with these equations and hoping that you will work on them at home, because it's very simple. Math is just practice. If you practice, if you put your heart into it, every single question will help you to become better. Okay, so let's get on to it. Enough of me telling you stories. Okay, so in this particular video, what we're going to do is, notice we have fractions. I've alluded to fractions and not liking to deal with fractions whenever you are trying to solve an equation. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to get rid of fractions, how to get rid of them in a way that will make your life easier. So I'm going to start with the top row, and notice they get increasingly difficult. So of course, let me just circle the ones that I will do with you. Okay, I will do, of course, I should always do the first one, right? Yeah, I'm going to do the first one. Okay, you do B, I do C, you do D, I do E, you do F, and of course, I'll do G. But I'm going to give you a chance to try G later, okay? All right, so let's start with A. Okay, so what happens if you do have a bunch of fractions in your equation? What do you do? Think of it as you needing to add fractions. It's the same idea. You want to find the common denominator. And what you're going to do is you're going to multiply every single fraction by whatever it takes to get the common denominator on the top and bottom. That was a bunch of words. Let's just do it. Okay, zoom in here. Okay, so now you can see we now need to find so take a look at all these numbers. I got 6, 4, and 4. Let's find the common denominator. And it's easier if we find the lowest common denominator. And if you're thinking 12, you're right. Okay, so once we've identified the common denominator, we're going to multiply every single term by 12. Every single term by 12. It's like multiplying the whole equation by 12. So if I think about it, it's like this, okay? But really what that means is I'm multiplying every single term by 12 itself, okay? So I'm going to do this. I'm going to multiply that by 12. I'm going to multiply this one by 12. I'm also going to multiply this one by 12. Every single thing by 12. Why? Okay? Because, watch. If I multiply this top here by 12, I can simplify my fraction. Why do I multiply everything by 12? Because if I multiply my whole equation by the same thing, then the balance, the scale, it's the same. If I multiply 12 here, I multiply 12 there, everything is balanced. It's fine. So I can do that to my entire equation. I can just treat it the same way, but to every single term. When I'm multiplying and dividing, of course. So here, I will multiply this by 12, and let's take a look. If I have 12 on top and 6 on the bottom, 6 actually divides into 12. And that's going to divide into it 2 times. So what I really have is 5 times 2. Hey, that's nicer to work with, eh? 5 times 2 is 10. Let's go to the next one. Imagine this. I have 7 and then 12 in brackets. I can simplify it because I have 4 on the bottom. 4 divides into 12 3 times. So 7 times 3 is 21. Okay, whoopsies. And then the last but not least is this fraction over here. I have x times 12. Again, 4 divides into 12 3 times, so it's like 3 times x. Okay, 3 times x is just like that. Now we have actually whole numbers to work with, no fractions anymore. Now what we can do is then peel the onion. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 21 on this side. Getting rid of this, I get left with 3x is equal to 10 minus 21 is going to give me negative 11. So then when I divide both sides by my 3, then I get x is equal to negative 11 over 3, and that's it. I don't have to simplify that or make it a mixed number. That's fine. Just leave it like that, okay? Okay, so guess what? It is now your chance to try B, okay? Good time to pause the video to try B. Okay, so let's take a look at B. Here we need to identify the common denominator, which is 16, meaning I'm going to need to multiply every single thing here by 16. And then same over here. The 16 cancels with this 16 down over here, so I have 5x left. Okay, minus, I have 5 times 16, and to get rid of this fraction here, 4 divides into 16 4 times, so I get 5 times 4. And then on this other side, I have 16 and 4 again, so 4 divides into 16 4 times, so that makes x times 4. Or x or 4x or whatever. So let's just quickly simplify this. Minus 20 is equal to 4x. Now we got x on both sides. Let's put them together. I'm going to subtract the 4x over here to move it to the other side. I get 5x minus 4x, giving me 1x is equal, x minus 20 is equal to nothing on the other side. We get 0. Okay, and to move the 20 over, I add 20 like this. Of course, I know you already know that x is equal to 20. And there you go. Those are the solutions to that one. Okay, sounds like it is my turn. My turn to do this guy over here. Guess what? I changed my mind. C actually looks doable for you. What's a little trickier is D. So you're going to do C. And I'm going to do D, okay? I'm going to do D. After I do D, you then should be able to do E and F. So both E and F are yours. Ouch. But that's okay. I would have done D, so you have a prep for it, okay? So let's go in order. Since I've changed my mind, you're going to do C. Good time to pause the video and try C. Okay, so I'm going to do C on fast mode. So let's get this over with. Common denominator here is a 6. So I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by 6. Here times 6 and this one times 6. Luckily, it's just one term on both sides. This 6 cancels out with this one. I am left with 5t minus 2. And then here, since I'm multiplying 6 on the top, I have 3 here on the bottom. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2 in front of these brackets, which is 5 minus 3t. Okay, now we have distributive property. You know this, how to do this, so just go ahead and do it. 2 times 5 here is going to be 10. 2 times 3t, well, don't forget the negative. That's going to be 6t. And that's going to be, on the other side, I have 5 times t, and then 5 times 2. Don't forget the negative. 5 times 2 is 10, all right? Next up, we're going to combine the like terms. So the t's can go together. I'm going to get rid of this negative 6t by adding it to the other side. I'm left with 10 is equal to 5 plus 6 is 11t in total. 11 t's, haha, minus 10, okay? Now, don't forget, don't just cancel the 10 on both sides, because this is actually minus 10. So to get rid of this 10 and peel my onion, get rid of the other terms on my variable side of the equation, I have to add 10 on both sides of my equation. So then I get 10 plus 10 is 20. Oh, running out of space here. I get 20 is equal to 11t. Dividing both sides by 11... okay, I then get t is equal to 20 over 11, and I can just leave my answer like that. I don't need to simplify. Okay, so this is a little bit of using the common denominator method and also distributive property. Expect to use a variety of strategies when you are trying to solve an equation. Without further ado, I have D. Okay, so you're doing a great job. You're still here with me, and the questions are going to get tougher, so this is why we should go over them together. Okay, so this one looks a little bit trickier because not only we have variables in our fraction, we also have this little trailing term that I mentioned earlier. You have to always treat that little thing fairly, just like everything else. The steps are still the same. You still look for the common denominator. Take a look. You have t and 2t. What's the common denominator? Well, obviously it's going to be 2t because t goes into 2t, right? So I'm going to multiply everything by 2t here. Okay, so that includes this term. It includes this term. And it includes this -1. That's still a term. You can't forget about this guy. So you have to multiply this guy by 2t as well. I tell you, this is where a lot of students will make the mistake, is to forget to multiply that 1 by 2t. So after I multiply 2t, these cancel out because top and bottom. I am left with 5 minus 3t, and since there's nothing else on this side of the equation, I can just remove the brackets. This is equal to, I have 2t over t. The t's here can cancel because I have one top and one on the bottom. And then I'm left with 5 times 2, which is 10. And in brackets t minus 2. Oh, and don't forget this last term, minus 1 times 2t, which just becomes minus 2t, like that, okay? Okay, that wasn't bad, right? And the key here was to also get the variable to the top. If you have a variable on the bottom, you can't isolate it. You can't say 1 over t is equal to blah, blah, blah. That doesn't tell you what t is, okay? So you always have to get the t in the numerator. You always have to get the variable in the numerator. And that's, if it's in the denominator, just multiply it up. Then you got it, okay? Next up, we got to distribute this 10, all right? So we got 5 minus 3t is equal to 10t over here, 10 times -2, or minus whatever, 20. Minus, and then don't forget the 2t here at the end, okay? That's a lot of t's, all right? So let's do some combining here. So I'm going to combine these two, because I have 10t minus 2t. If I have 10t minus 2t, I get 8 t's minus 20. Don't forget that. And now what I can do is I can combine my like terms on opposite sides of the equation. So I'm going to move this -3 over because I just have to add it. Okay, adding is good because I am left with positive numbers instead of negative numbers. So then I have 5 is equal to 8 plus 3 is 11t minus 20. Then now I want to get rid of my 20. So what I need to do is I'm going to plus 20 on this side, plus 20 on this side. I am then left with 5 plus 20 is 25 equals to 11t. Now peeling the inside of our onion, I'm going to divide both sides by 11. And then I get t is equal to 25 over 11. And leaving it like that is fine. Just making sure it's simplified. And it is, okay? Okay, so that's it for the first row. Hey, you know what? This video is getting a little bit too long. So you know what? I've decided that I am going to do these harder questions in the next video. Okay? This next video, I'm gonna, in fact, I'll probably do the first one. You do the second, and then I'll do the hard one there. Okay? So, you know what? These questions are getting longer. You're doing a fantastic job, and I think you can hone your skills even more with the next one. Thank you for watching. Great job. Fat Mama Physics, signing out.